Guys, did you hear that song? Yeah, that's a Christmas song. And we're in the Christmas season. And what is Christmas without chicken stew? Where I come from back in the days, we have chicken stews during Christmas and it was so delicious. And today I'm bringing you this type of chicken stew. You will love it. So guys, sit back and relax and let me show you how I make my Christmas stew. For our ingredients, we have our fresh tomatoes. I took the seed out. We have our scotch bonnet pepper and we have our 2 onions. With the scotch bonnet pepper, use less if you can't take the heat. So I'm going to blend the scotch bonnet pepper, the onions and the tomatoes together. With this type of stew, you want to make sure you blend your tomatoes to really smooth texture. So in a clean and empty pot, I'm going to pour my blended tomatoes, pepper and onions in it. And I'm going to continue to blend the rest of the vegetables. So I'm going to pour the rest into the pot. So I'm going to be cooking this till it reduces in size and most of the moisture evaporates. So when you start to cook your tomatoes, you don't want to cover the pot. You want to leave it uncovered because when you cover it, it takes a long time for the water to evaporate. So this has been cooking for about 15 minutes now. As you can see, there's some separation from the water and the tomatoes. So we're going to be cooking this so you can't see any of the liquid or any of the water in it. Also guys, when you're cooking this, you want to keep stirring it from time to time to prevent it from burning. So as you can see, there's still more liquid in it. At this point it starts to splash, so I'm going to cover it halfway. So my tomatoes have been cooking for about 30 to 40 minutes now, and this is how you want the texture to look. It has reduced in size and is really thick. This is how you want it to look before you use it for the stew. Now we're going to set this aside and let's get to our chicken. So I'm using chicken for this recipe, guys. You could use goat meat, you could use beef or even fish. So I'm going to be seasoning my chicken with 2 ginger cubes and 2 onion cubes. I'm going to be adding this chicken seasoning. You could use any seasoning of your choice. I also added some bay leaves to it. I'm going to add a little bit of water and let this cook till the meat is tender. So in about 10 minutes later, I'm going to give this a stir for the ginger and onion and all my spices to be well seasoned in the chicken. So I'm using hard chicken for this recipe. If you can't find hard chicken, you could use the soft one. But the hard chicken, this took me about 40 minutes to be well cooked. So, but if you use the soft one, I don't think it's gonna take you that much time. I prefer you using hard chicken for this recipe because that flavor, the taste is different from when you use the soft, like the frozen one. But if you can't, you can still use the soft one. So my chicken is tender now. I'm going to be frying this. My oil is hot but not too much hot because I didn't want it to splash on me. So we're going to be frying this till it's golden brown. So our chicken is ready. Look at how beautiful that looks. Please, at this point, you want to control yourself so you don't finish the chicken before your stew is done. So I'm going to fry the rest of the chicken. So we're done frying the chicken. So at this point, I thought my oil was too much, so I took some out. But guys, I ended up adding it back to the stew. You're gonna see that later. So I'm adding my sliced up onions to it. Make sure you give it a stir and let it fry for about 2 to 3 minutes. And about 2 to 3 minutes later, I added my tomato paste. And we're going to be frying this tomato paste till it's like burgundy color. So guys, we're making Christmas stew. So with Christmas stew, you take your time to make it. It's this kind of stew that you barely eat it. You eat it like once or twice a year. So when it's time for Christmas, you take your time and you make it really delicious. That's exactly what we're doing today. This is the color you want your tomato paste to look like. See how burgundy that looks? It's not burnt. When you do it this way, it gives some flavor to the stew and it tastes really good. So at this point, you remember our tomatoes that we cooked in the beginning, we're going to add that to the tomato paste. So with this type of stew, you see how the tomatoes was really cooked and there wasn't a lot of moisture in it, and the tomato paste was also really cooked. This is the type of stew that when you're done, you could leave it outside for like a couple of hours or a couple of, let's say, a day, and it won't go bad. Just because we don't have a lot of moisture in it, because when you have a lot of moisture in food, that's what makes the food go bad. So guys, you see I added the rest of the oil. When you're making this type of stew or any kind of stew and you want it to cook faster, you need oil. If there's not a lot of oil, it's gonna take forever to cook, so the oil helps it a lot. So the stew has been cooking for about 5 to 7 minutes now. I'm not going to be adding my chicken stock. Yeah, you think I forgot? No, I did not. And that has a lot of flavors in it. So please do not throw away your chicken stock. So we're going to be cooking this. Since we added our stock to it, it's a little bit liquidy. And we're going to cook this till most of the liquid evaporate. With this kind of stew, we're going to be cooking it like we're making shito. So I added my salt and I'm now adding my shrimp tablets. Remember, this is optional. If you don't like it, you could use any seasoning of your choice. So I added half tablespoon of curry powder. So I gave this a stir to make sure the curry powder is well mixed in the stew. So it's time for me to add the fried chicken to the stew. Yes, this is the time for the stew and the chicken to meet. So the chicken soak up all that deliciousness in that stew. You want to give that a stir and let it take its time to cook. So I'm going to cover this halfway and let it cook on the medium heat. So our stew have been cooking for about 10 minutes now. Yes, you want to give that a stir to prevent it from burning. At this point, I'm going to be adding these spices. I know I've talked a lot on my channel when it comes to Shell's ground spices. He has all these natural spices and I love it in my tomato based stew. So I'm going to put her contact in the description box below. If you need it, contact her and you're going to get it right in front of your door. Remember, you could use any seasoning of your choice and trust me, the stew is going to taste really good. So I tasted for salt, my seasoning are on point. I'm going to leave this halfway covered and let it take its time to cook. So in about 10 minutes, our stew will be done, guys. So for your information, guys, this is Auntie Princess stew. This is my mom's stew. I know people have been asking me when are you uploading this stew. Yeah, she makes this type of stew to like parties and stuff, and everybody been asking when are you uploading this stew. I finally did. So please share my video, subscribe if you haven't. So finally the stew is done. Look at that beauty. So guys, you see the color of that stew? It tells you this stew has really been fried. Like Gachimuye. So this is like a long awaited Christmas stew, and when you do it well. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Please share the video. It helps me out a lot. Until I come your way next time, this is Cook with Naki. Be good to yourself. Be good to everybody. It goes a long way.